The first time you watch K-pop, you're immediately like hooked on it and addicted to it. Singing, dance, acting, fashion. Immediately thought, I have to do this. I have to be a part of this K-pop.
If you guys wouldn't mind introducing yourselves.
Let's do our pop rings. 하나, 둘, 셋. 안녕하세요. EXP Edition입니다. 안녕하세요.
The criticism that EXpedition got was about ownership of K-pop. They can't because they're white. They can't because they're Americans.
김치 하나 둘 셋.
He says, I don't want white people in my K-pop.
Isn't K-pop Korean?
White dudes trying to break into Korean pop music is fucking bullshit.
You were telling me earlier you guys got death threats in the beginning?
Yeah. If people are reacting this strongly, then maybe this is something more than what I thought it was and where it could go.
When you look at K-pop, there's nothing that's traditionally Korean in it.
To certain people, when they see us, we understand that that is still surprising. I understand every single person that had criticism.
Sorry. We live here in Korea. We speak Korean, working with the same producers, same teams who create other K-pop groups. You're kind of thinking like, how could it not be considered K-pop?
I'm here in Seoul, South Korea to meet EXP Edition, the world's first non-Korean K-pop group. It's made up of 4 members: Shimei, who's Croatian American, Hunter, who's from New York, Frankie, who's from Rhode Island, and Koki, who's half Japanese, half German, raised in Texas. So with their first album in the tank and their lives fully relocated to Seoul, I'm here to find out if a group of foreigners can actually make it in the K-pop industry.
What's up, dude? Welcome.
How's it going?
Good. How are you? Come on in. You gotta take your shoes off when you enter.
This is like the place you guys have been in since you got here.
Welcome.
This is a castle.
The castle, yeah.
Yeah.
Only place we live since we've been here, yeah.
Wow.
Technically, they have a bigger room, Shimei and Koki, so we did rock, paper, scissors, shoot to see
Oh, right.
who would
You
get the
didn't
bigger
just,
room.
like-
Yeah, at a restaurant, right?
Yeah, we like our rooms.
Yeah.
Growing up, I did a lot of musical theater. In elementary school, middle school, high school, I always loved to sing.
I was born and raised in Croatia, but I decided to just go to the States for 1 year as a foreign exchange student. That's where I saw musical theater for the very first time. I fell in love with it, and so I decided to stay.
I was just doing probably similar to the guy's stories, acting, modeling, and also side jobs, just for money, catering jobs.
Growing up in the States, you're never like, oh, like, I'm gonna become a pop star because like, how do you do that? Like, But then once I joined EXP Edition, it kind of renewed my, I guess, like vigor to like think like this is possible.
자, 이 그래마 어떻게 쓰는 거죠?
While doing something.
그죠. 그러면은
같은 subject.
맞아요. 똑같은 same subject를 무조건 써야 돼요. 코키가 문장 하나 만들어 볼래요? Make a sentence?
저는 공부하면서 TV를 봤어요.
We want to be a part of the K-pop industry, and we're here where it all started. So in order to do that, you have to know the language.
Right.
You have to know the culture. You have to be a part of it. I think it's still a new concept to a lot of people, but we're just honored to be a small part of it,
Yeah. That's my baby, my
Now say all
motivator.
of that in Korean.
Okay, so
이거 네.
오늘은 특별한 날이에요.
네.
자, Teachers Appreciation Day. 스승의 하늘 같아서 우러러 볼수록 높아만 지네. 보답하리 스승의 은혜.
The group was started in 2015 by Bora Kim, a Korean woman who wanted to study what makes K-pop K-pop as a part of an art project at Columbia University. She called the group EXP Edition, EXP being for experiment, filled it with non-Koreans, and raised $30,000 on Kickstarter.
Obviously, I had no experience in running an entertainment company, so I was reading a lot of academic text about it, and then it really made me think what K-pop can be to other people.
We're hoping to continue moving forward and stay focused on our main goal, to create and share great K-pop.
We prepared an ad, and surprisingly, so many people applied. And right about that time, we got a lot of media attention.
So when you guys first debuted, how were you received?
Just like an explosion of attention, basically.
Yeah.
Really very mixed reactions that we got. Anywhere from people being fascinated by the idea to just outright hating it.
I mean, you were telling me earlier you guys got death threats in the beginning?
Yeah. I remember my sister texted me what are these jokes, these comments on your Instagram? I'm like, yeah, just don't pay attention to it.
I guess thinking back at it, it makes me question myself, was I just being ignorant by just thinking that we weren't gonna get hate?
I remember initially thinking wow, if people are reacting this strongly, then maybe this is something more than what I thought it was and where it could go.
Because in Korea, K-pop is no joke. It's a $5 billion industry. There are over 100 groups signed to major labels and dozens of idol training schools. But idol training is notoriously tough, and kids practice 12 hours a day for upwards of 10 years, hoping to become K-pop's next big star. EXP Edition has faced criticism for seemingly bypassing that system, and I wanted to know how that might affect their success. So I sat down with Leah Kim, one of the best-known dance choreographers in K-pop. Why is the training to become a K-pop idol so intense?
칼처럼 뭔가 딱 자르듯이 그 규격화된 그 모습을 만들어내고 싶은 엔터테인먼트들의 어떤 방향성 때문에 필요한 노력들인 것 같아요.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Can K-pop idols be made, or do they have to be born?
한국은 트레이닝 시스템이 너무 잘 되어 있어요. 그 시스템으로 충분히 부족한 부분을 커버할 수 있는 그런 정도까지 있는 것 같아서 만들어지는 측면이 좀 더 많다라고 얘기하고 싶어요.
5, 6, 7, 8, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Yeah, just like that. One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8.
오디션에 확정되는 사람들은 거의 30%, 20% 미만이라고 보거든요. 와, 사실 너무 어려운 과정이라 지금 현재 데뷔하신 분들은 진짜 대단하고 엄청난 노력을 통해서 이루어낸 결과라고 느껴요.
Do you think K-pop idols can come from outside of that system?
K-팝에 쌓여온 그 노하우들을 활용하지 않고 어떤 개인이 혼자의 힘으로 이거를 극복해낸다는 거는 불가능이라고 얘기하고 싶진 않지만 굉장히 어려울 것이다라고 느껴요.
Because of the training system, fans of K-pop expect their idols to be perfect.
하나, 둘, 셋. 안녕하세요. Hello YouTube, this is TKDK TV. Danny David. We are with EXP Edition.
Danny and David Kim are popular Korean YouTubers whose K-pop reaction videos have been viewed over 37 million times. They first reviewed EXP Edition 2 years ago about their music video Feel Like This.
I'm not saying they're good at any level. They're pretty bad. I'll agree with that. They're pretty bad.
When you guys were first exposed to EXP Edition, what was your reaction to foreigners getting involved in K-pop?
I think it's when Vanilla Ice first came out,
Yeah.
They're not totally K-pop because musically they sounded very popish. They sounded like American pop.
Right.
And visually, they kind of imitated, or they were wearing K-pop style makeup. And it was very weird for me.
And also, their pronunciation. This is very important for Korean people who listen to the music. If your pronunciation is weird, you get this weird feeling. You get this you get off.
Your ang is too hard, too strong. No, that's much better. 사랑한다는 말이
그치. One more.
사랑한다는 말
사랑한다는 말이.
사랑한다는 말.
Were you guys even aware that they were like still around?
No. I was pretty sure
I
that
thought it was a one-off thing.
Yeah, I thought it was an experiment.
Yeah,
Because
because of the
literally
name.
EXP Edition, and also I saw the news that it was like a thesis project. So it's like, okay, this is like a one-off thing.
You didn't take it seriously.
No.
Yeah, they've been trying to like get on the TV shows and like make that run. But yeah, it's funny, you know, your guys' business is K-pop. You weren't even aware they were like still around.
I wanted to see if the group has been able to build a Korean fan base, so I went to a performance they were giving at a Korean Buddhist temple.
Please welcome the EXP Edition with a big round of applause.
How did it make you feel to see foreigners forming a K-pop group?
외국인들이 어떻게 K-팝을 노래할까 그랬는데 이제 K-팝이 세계적으로 유명해져 있구나라는 생각이 들어서 지금은 좀 긍정적으로 보고 있습니다.
제가 원래 이 시간에 다른 일이 갔어야 됐는데 빼고 올 정도로 진짜 너무 좋아요.
발음이 정확하지는 않는데 감정이나 그런 것들이 굉장히 전달을 잘해주고 있더라고요. 이 그룹들이 정말 우리나라 K-팝을 많이 좋아하는구나라는 그런 생각이 너무 들어서 이 EXP 에디션이라는 그룹을 더 좋아하게 되더라고요.
제가 됐어요. 해봅시다.
Seeing the guys today with the fans step out of all of their Western selves and step into this very Korean self that they've had to manufacture to appeal to a brand new audience. It does sort of flirt with the line of cultural appropriation and then just straight up respect.
And to be honest, I really wasn't expecting the Korean fans to be so positive towards them.
The way that you guys have physically transformed yourself, or the way that you guys have learned aesthetic that goes along with K-pop, does that offend you at all?
No, absolutely not. When people look at us and say like we're culturally appropriating in a way, it does confuse me once people realize that we do love and respect Korean culture and K-pop as an industry, that it's nothing like culture appropriation.
Interestingly enough, most of the sort of like that type of criticism comes from non-Korean K-pop fandom, mostly English speaking actually.
I'm gonna Google K-pop definition, see what the world says.
Oh,
Because my thing is like, isn't K-pop Korean?
It hurts to watch, right?
Yeah. This is much closer to Europop
But like
than I think.
closer to like Europop trash, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't like this.
Yeah, well, they're a gimmick group. I don't think
it feels
argue to not be a gimmick group.
This kind of experiment, it's mocking the K-pop culture, and I find that part disrespectful.
White dudes trying to break into Korean pop music to appeal to a Korean audience as a social experiment is fucking bullshit.
The criticism that EXP Edition got was about ownership of K-pop. So can EXP Edition call themselves K-pop? They can't because they're not Korean. They can't because they're white. But in Korea, we don't have the hate reaction. Korea has a totally different relationship toward cultural appropriation within K-pop. When you actually look at K-pop, there's nothing that's traditionally Korean in it.
For about 40 years, Korea was under Japanese occupation. Their culture was wiped out and they were cut off to the world. With K-pop, Korea's been able to take elements of Western culture, make it their own, and are happy to share that with the world. But foreign K-pop fans, mainly American, feel this need to protect K-pop even though it's not really theirs to protect.
I don't want white people in my fucking K-pop. Stay in America.
How do you interact with these types of reaction videos?
This specific reaction video we thought was really interesting.
There's definitely a sense of ownership K-pop fans have over K-pop, and it's so interesting because they themselves act as if they're an ambassador of K-pop. And so when they see something threatening it or something that they think is threatening it, they are very outrightly trying to protect it.
But it's exoticizing and demeaning and it's Orientalist, you know? Yeah. This talk around race and political correctness, you really have to look at the situation, and a lot of people that know about us know the very surface of it and make that very quick judgment.
Had it ever registered that you had taken members of the majority in America and you had made them minorities in Korea?
Yeah, that was the point of this project.
I wanted to hear from some of these more outspoken foreign K-pop fans, so I invited a couple of them to talk about the root of their feelings towards EXP Edition.
What was your collective first impression of EXP Edition?
Not killer.
That was very nice.
I thought they were trolling. Everybody was taking them seriously, but I was like, these guys are funny.
He thought it was a mockery.
Yeah.
K-pop is like a set of conventions. That's why we like go to K-pop for that. So when they're doing this thing, it's like, that's not what we expected. I mean, the philosophy of life is you have to be better or you have to be different. And so they tried to hit up that we're very different. They're like, look how white we are. Ta-da, right? And everyone's like, okay, but your skills aren't where they need to be. Your production isn't where it needs to be. Your songs aren't where they need to be. So what are you doing?
At first, because it was like his college creation, that they were being satirical. And then they're like, oh, people actually want to see this.
It's funny though, because like when I first came in contact with the group, it seemed like a cash grab to me. But from what I've seen so far, I think they are really trying to make it as a K-pop group.
I think that anybody can break into the market. I don't want to see it. I have no interest in watching it.
Yeah, I mean, was it because
they're white? Is that going to be your question?
No, not yet, but we can talk. That was a question. We can talk about that, right? Like, was it because they were a majority white, like mostly American group?
No, it was just because it was so cringy. Because I mean,
But did that have to do with their being white?
Probably. I can't really explain it to you. It's a weird thing. And it's funny because in the comment section of some of my videos, I've had the exact same question. Like, I just don't want to see non-Asians in K-pop. And it's like, it's not that it has nothing to do with the race. It's just, I think it's some people are sick and tired of how Western culture pushes certain things in your face with music. So I think there's almost sort of like a natural protective instinct. If they went over there and they and they sang in Korean, they danced, they did their thing, but they acted more where they're from, maybe it would work a little better and it wouldn't seem so cringy and fake.
But then would people be like, they're not even trying to be K-pop, you know?
Yes, they will. They can't win no matter what they do. They're going to be under the harshest spotlights.
I think this is a type of situation that a lot of artists have been in before. It happened with jazz, it happened with hip hop. When a certain genre becomes so globally recognized, it is only natural that more and more people from different backgrounds are going to become part of it.
What do you want out of this experiment? As far as like the experiment part, I think that is over. Like that experiment part ended a long time ago. Whether or not we are successful enough to keep going, that's more of like the conversation.
Oh my God, what's that? Are you a cowgirl? Oh my gosh, she's getting so big.
So what's new in Korea?
We have had a few shows lately. Actually, a really cool one yesterday at a temple. It was raining, but it was a lot of fun, and I think it went well. We made a bunch of new fans, and
it's like a big leap of faith coming out here, right? Obviously, making that decision, kind of putting your life on hold or leaving it behind at a certain point, you guys are in it for the long haul.
That's an understatement. I mean, it's just everything in our lives is kind of riding on this. Like if this, like God forbid, I don't even think this is fake wood, real wood, but if it just stopped, like I don't even know what we would do. We would just have to start kind of from the ground up again, like, and
it's hard to imagine just going back to auditioning and going back to, you know, catering. You doubt yourself sometimes, but we always try to just stay positive and full steam ahead.
You know, I have this big performance coming up, and I wish my parents could be there, you know? If I feel like they could understand me better and my desire to keep going even when it seems like I shouldn't.
Describe to me, I guess, the place that the band is in now.
That's a good question. We are building our fandom and we can feel it, that it is slowly growing, but we need to get known more to the public. We do have to be on like bigger TV shows and that's really hard to do.
Moment. We're inside KBS studios because today Shime is performing on a competition singing show, and these types of shows are wildly popular in Korea. And it's actually like a rite of passage for K-pop groups. The thing is, he's actually going to be performing by himself on that stage, and if he does well, it could really elevate the status of the group. It's a lot of pressure, and it's kind of like one of those make it or break it moments for EXP Edition.
And this stuff is all, what is this, like scheduling,
Yeah,
I'm
this
guessing?
is a timeline of the day. The actual recording starts at 6:50. And this show, 불후의 명곡 Immortal Songs, is one of the most watched TV shows in Korea. So yes, it is a big deal.
Big deal.
And just talking about it, like my heart starts racing.
Is it time?
Almost.
My kind of analysis of it all isn't necessarily like people were attacking you four as individuals. I think they were more afraid of what you represented.
It's a very sensitive topic, it really is. But I think it comes down to just making sure that we really come across as someone who's not being ignorant about this whole situation.
Break a leg.
Okay, here we go. 하나, 둘, 셋. EXP Edition fighting!
We understand that to certain people, when they see us perform in Korean with a certain aesthetic that is still surprising, I think this has happened to every musical genre ever. We're the face of it, so when people see us, they're gonna react specifically to us because of that.
마이크 놓고 준비하고 나올게요.
여기 있어요?
네네. 안에서 저희 준비하고 나올게요. 마이크 내릴게요. I hope he wins.
Yeah.
네. 저희 지금 바로 가셔야 될 것 같아요.
네.
That's okay.
It's okay, dude.
That's okay.
I mean, you killed it.
That's okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
That was what, 5 votes?
Yeah, there are 5 votes, so yeah, that's life.
Spending time with these guys and learning about their story has started to make me question how we define cultural appropriation and why we are so quick to assign that term to certain situations. And I'll admit, that was my first thought when I heard about EXP Edition, But now, I feel like it was an unfair judgment, especially if the majority culture in Korea is fine with them.
하나, 둘, 셋.
I think sometimes in our attempt to protect certain things, we forget what we are actually trying to defend.
What are the things that you want to make sure that the world knows about you moving forward?
People should know that we live in Seoul. Our album is under the K-pop genre on websites, y'all.
At the bottom of all of this is like very simple, and it could be very selfish, and that is that we really do love what we do. The only thing that what we can do now is to make sure that we present ourselves and our work in the most respectful way possible.
하나, 둘, 셋.
Oh shit!
Hold
One more time.
it!
I fucked it up.
Hold
One more
the
time.
count.
One more time. One more time. I just stopped and I just like, walked away.
Do one more. Save it.
Yeah. Ready?
하나, 둘, 셋.